Welcome to the AI for Career Success video overview by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. $150,000. So, what exactly is that number? Well, according to Kevin Roose of the New York Times, that's the bill for a single AI user over a single month. Now, that's not just a startling number. It's a huge red flag that we've reached a critical turning point for corporate AI strategy. And that really gets to the heart of what we're discussing today. Our analysis is pulled from Catherine Bindley's excellent reporting in the Wall Street Journal in her article, "You Finally Figured Out AI at Work, Now Comes the Bill." Bindley's work really documents this crucial shift we're seeing. The initial excitement around AI adoption is starting to crash into a much more sobering financial reality. It's forcing companies to ask some pretty tough questions about value and return on investment. So here's how we're going to walk through this evolution of corporate AI. We'll start with that initial phase of just pushing for usage, a phenomenon some are calling tokenmaxxing. Then, we'll look at the hidden costs that came with it and the necessary pivot from just measuring usage to actually evaluating outcomes. After that, we'll get into some practical strategies for smarter spending, and finally, we'll define what this new essential AI literacy looks like for today's professional.
Okay, so let's begin at the beginning with that initial push for adoption. This first phase of enterprise AI was really all about mass experimentation. The philosophy was basically more is more, and it created this fascinating and, as we'll see, very expensive new corporate culture.
To really get a grip on the economics of AI, you first have to understand its basic unit of currency, the token. Just think of it like a metered charge, almost like a word count for an AI. Every query you make, every response you get, every single task is measured, and more importantly, billed in these tokens. This concept is absolutely central to the whole cost versus value discussion. Kevin Roose came up with the perfect name for this cultural trend, tokenmaxxing. It really describes this environment where companies, in their rush to drive adoption, were creating all sorts of incentives. We're talking literal leaderboards to encourage people to use as much AI as possible. The assumption, of course, was that high consumption directly translated to innovation. But that assumption is now facing some intense scrutiny. And this brings us to the inevitable next step. That period of just unrestrained experimentation is coming to a very rapid close because the financial reality has become a huge concern for management. It's forcing a really difficult but necessary reassessment of AI strategy. Just as Catherine Bindley documents, that initial enthusiasm can sour pretty quickly. The moment of truth usually arrives with the monthly cloud computing bill, where all these AI costs are often bundled. A sudden, massive spike in operating expenses tends to reveal the staggering and previously hidden price of all that unmonitored AI usage. So this brings us to the fundamental dilemma that organizations are now wrestling with. Does a high token count mean you have a super productive employee who's driving incredible value? Or does it represent a huge inefficiency, a new technologically advanced form of busy work? The financial headaches here are coming from a few different places. First, the expenses are often buried, just showing up as a surge in the cloud services bill. Second, trying to connect those costs to a specific project or business outcome is incredibly difficult. And without clear rules, usage just goes unchecked. As one expert put it, inefficient automation costs you twice. You pay for the tokens to get a bad result, and then you pay again in employee hours to fix it. Okay, so confronting these costs means companies have to make a major strategic pivot. This is really a moment of maturation for corporate AI. The focus has to evolve from just encouraging activity to rigorously evaluating the value and the real, tangible outcomes that the activity is producing. Commentator Adam Johnson really connects this to a classic management principle. You get what you measure. By rewarding high token consumption, companies accidentally optimized for maximum usage. And that's often completely counterproductive to the actual business goal, which isn't maximum activity, but maximum value with maximum efficiency. This slide really illustrates that shift in thinking perfectly. On the left, you've got the old mindset, totally focused on the volume of tokens as the main metric for adoption. But on the right, you see the new, more mature mindset. Here, the key metric is the value you produce per token. The goal shifts from just adoption to a measurable return on investment. As another commentator, Julio C., framed it, this evolution is really the hallmark of a maturing AI strategy. The critical business question is no longer just, are our employees using AI? It's now, do we actually understand what we're getting for what we're spending?
Now, this strategic shift isn't just a theory. Forward-thinking organizations are already putting practical, data-driven strategies into place to manage their AI costs and, more importantly, maximize the value they get from these powerful investments.
So, based on the reporting, we're seeing a few smart tactics start to emerge. Companies like Zapier are building internal dashboards just to get visibility into who's using what. When they see someone with really high usage, they dig in. Is it wasteful, or has this person found a golden pattern for productivity that the whole company can learn from? This focus is getting so critical that some companies are now screening for token efficiency in job interviews. A huge part of the strategy involves choosing the right model for the job. As analyst Umesh Sachdev explains, using a giant, expensive large language model for every little thing is like using a sledgehammer to hang a picture. It's just costly overkill. A much smarter approach is to use smaller, fine-tuned language models, or SLMs, for specific tasks. These can be up to 100 times cheaper and often give you even better accuracy on those targeted jobs.
And this quote from Umesh Sachdev is key. More tokens do not necessarily mean more outcomes. This just perfectly sums up the core of a mature AI strategy. The goal isn't to use the most computing power. It's to get the business result you want as efficiently as you possibly can.
All of this brings us to our final section, which is all about a new essential business skill. Real AI literacy in a professional setting isn't just about writing good prompts anymore. It's about using these tools with strategic and economic intelligence. Commentator Matt Hebard gives us this really useful three-stage framework to think about where an organization is on its journey. I'd encourage you to think about where your own company sits. Are you in stage 1, still just focused on getting people to use it? Maybe stage 2, where rising usage numbers are still seen as the main sign of success? Or have you reached stage 3? Where usage is being actively tracked and rigorously connected to tangible business value. So what does this new AI literacy actually look like in practice? Well, it boils down to a few core skills. First, having the judgment to know when to automate and when a task should just stay manual. Second, being able to match the right model with its associated cost to the right task. Third, having the discipline to tie every significant AI spend to a clear business outcome. And finally, as commentator Kevin Fields suggests, having the foresight to save your most powerful and most expensive models for only your highest value projects. And this brings us right back to the essential question that every professional and every organization needs to be asking right now. As we move past that initial hype, is your investment in AI creating real, defensible value? Or have you simply subsidized a more expensive, more technologically advanced form of unproductive activity?
Thank you for watching. This is where we teach you AI and help you get smarter than your competition.
If you like these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and like, comment, and share to help us reach a wider audience. You can also use the QR code on your screen to buy us a coffee or to hire us to coach you or your employees in AI.